Hi,
Hi.
welcome back. So Sunday is coming out very soon along with the 2.7 update. Now that his Keeping Up with Starrel video has come out, talking about him in detail is no longer considered leaks, so I'm legally free to do so. Of course, we all know he's an imaginary harmony unit and he's a 5-star. He's automatically going to be good. The question is how good, and how good for how long. We know that Robin and Ruan Mei both exist in the game, and while so many people are very quick to dismiss Ruan Mei because Robin is better most of the time, Ruan Mei is still incredibly powerful because you have two teams, and so is Sunday, of course. In this video, we're going to talk about a few things. We're going to compare Sunday to Ruan Mei and Robin, and rank them 1 through 3. We're going to discuss when and where Sunday is a must-pull and when he's a skip, and finally we're going to list off all the characters and teams where Sunday is utilized very effectively. Before we start, you should like, comment, and subscribe for more content like this in the future, and join the Express Rent Discord server for a fun StarRel community to interact with. I'm trying to reach 2,500 subs before the end of the year, so I'd really appreciate it if you help me get there. We only need around 250 subs more, we got this. Now let's get on to it. First off, I was going to do a whole rating all Harmony units video again just like I did when Robin came out, but instead, I'm only going to discuss the Harmony units that are consistently must-pulls for every single account. Spoiler alert, Sparkle is not one of them anymore. So, why is that? Before Sunday, Sparkle was the best single target debuffer in the game, and was better than Bronya in every single team except for Boot Hill teams, because Boot Hill doesn't care for the extra crit damage Sparkle provides, but instead needs the extra damage percent and attack percent that Bronya provides. However, right now, Sunday is absolutely better than Sparkle, and even when talking about high skill point price teams like Honkai hypercarry, then Sunday is still way better, and it's not even funny actually. It's kind of insane. Here's a cool little video I found by a content creator called Soydan where, get this, Honkai with E0S1 Sunday along with Robin and Ho-Ho cleared 1 cycle faster than the same team but with E6S1 Sparkle. I have no words. I was going to do a whole comparison between Sparkle and Sunday skits as well, and add a whole 5 minutes onto this video, but it's no longer needed. Sparkle has been insanely power crept. The fact that she can only advance actions forward by 50% is a huge detriment to teams with huge speed differences, and the fact that she can regenerate energy or increase crit rate like Sunday can is as well. However, Sparkle's Eidolons are kinda trash. To get the same upgrade Ruan Mei and Robin get from going from E0 to E1, you'd have to take Sparkle from E0 to E2. And even then, Ruan Mei's 20% defense ignores scales with the all-type resistance penetration she grants allies as well, so Sparkle was heavily kecked when her Eidolons were created. So an E0S1 Sparkle would only be around 2 to 3 cycles slower than Sunday, but possibly 1 to 2 if you kept retrying to get the most optimal run, and of course depending on how good your Sparkle build is. Now let's take a look at Sunday's kit and compare him to characters he can actually be compared to without massacring, Robin and Ruan Mei. First off, let's list off all the buffs that Sunday has. With his skill, he causes an ally as well as their summon, if there is one, to immediately take action, as well as increasing their damage by 30% and by an additional 50% if they have a summon. With his ultimate, he regenerates 20 energy for a target ally who along with their summon also become the Beatified. The crit damage is increased by 30% of Sunday's plus 12, meaning they get 72% crit damage if Sunday has 200 and 87% if Sunday has 250. His talent increases the target chosen by his skill's crit rate by 20%, and when using his technique, the first character that is chosen by his skill gets their damage increased by an additional 50% for 2 turns. That only happens once. His first choice makes regenerating energy for this Beatified a little easier, his second choice gives him an extra 25 energy at the start of the battle, and his third choice allows him to cleanse 1 debuff off of the target ally with his skill. We're also going to discuss every character's Eidolons 1 and 2 in this video, so his E1 allows his skill's target to ignore 16% of the enemy's defense, and if they have a summon it ignores 40%. His E2 makes his first use of the ultimate regenerate 2 skill points, that also increases the Beatified's damage by 30%. So let's take a 200 crit damage Sunday as a baseline build. He increases a non-summon character's crit damage by 72%, their damage by 30%, crit rate by 20%, and regenerates 20% energy. His buffs, by the way, all have near 100% uptime if he's played and built correctly. With his E1, he allows him to ignore 16% defense. His E2 allows his first ultimate to regenerate 2 skill points and increases the Beatified's damage by 30%. By the way, that 30% Beatified damage increases for all ultimates, not just the first one. He increases a summons unit damage by 80%, crit damage by 72%, then the same buffs as before, while his E1 allows the summon to ignore 40% defense as well. Now let's compare him to Ruan Mei and Robin. Since they're not new characters, I'll just brush over them. Robin increases all allies' damage by 50%, attack of all allies by 22.8% of Robin's plus 200, crit damage by 20%, all allies' follow-up attack damage by 25%, as well as advances all allies' actions forward by 100% when using her ultimate. Her E1 increases all allies' all-type resistance penetration by 24% during the duration of her ultimate, and her E2 increases all their speed by 16% as well as a little bit of extra energy. Ruan Mei increases all allies' damage by 32%, plus one of her traces that allows an extra 36% depending on how much break effect she has. She increases all allies' weakness break efficiency by 50% as well, while her ult increases all allies' all-type resistance penetration by 25% while also delaying enemies' actions by one turn after their weakness broken. Her talent increases all allies' speed by 10% and gives them a break damage boost based on Ruan Mei's break damage. Finally, her first trace increases all allies' break effect by 20%, her E1 allows all allies to ignore 20% defense during the duration of her ultimate, and her E2 increases all allies' attack dealt to enemies that are weakness broken by 40%. So the first thing we notice is that Sunday is single target, while Ruan Mei and Robin buff every ally. From that fact alone, 9 hypercarry teams, which are of course FUA and Break, are much better off with Robin and Ruan Mei respectively. When talking raw buffs to a single target, then Sunday is obviously going to take the cake. If he doesn't, then he's kinda bad. 72% crit damage and 30 to 80% increased damage based on if the character has a summon or not, which would already be insane without the 20% crit rate and 20% energy, as well as allowing the ally to take action immediately. However, Robin and Ruan Mei's individual buffs are also incredibly powerful, you can't take anything away from them. Ruan Mei increases damage by 68% in a best built scenario, as well as all-type resistance penetration by 25% and weakness break efficiency by 50%, and increases break damage a lot, which I feel is very overlooked. Robin increases damage through many different means. She increases damage by 50%, FUI by 25%, and crit damage by 20%, as well as attack by 22% plus 200, and advances everyone's actions forward while also dealing her own personal damage the whole time. All of these characters are incredibly powerful and you should pull every single one of them. However, we talked about Sparkle being very powerful, but now Sparkle has been insanely power crept by Sunday. Sunday is only a single target character, and if you're not really sure if you like his character or playstyle, if you don't want to pull for summon units or don't care about buffing up hypercarry units, but are still looking for another Harmony character, then I'd wait for 3.1 and pull for Tribby, who's a child but also seems to be pretty powerful. She's supposed to have all of def reduction, resistance penetration, and damage increase in her kit at E0, which is insane, because it's both Ruan Mei and Robin Z1 at E0. However, she's a child and the video's not about her. Let's not talk about her too much. Point is, if you're not sure about Sunday and you don't care about hypercarry or summon, then you probably shouldn't pull for him. If you're going to pull the Herda instead of Aglaya, then keep using Robin and Ruan Mei or wait for Tribby to come out. While Robin and Ruan Mei are absolutely universal AoE Harmony units, Sunday, while still incredibly powerful and can even be used with units like Acheron and Facia pretty effectively, is a lot weaker when the character doesn't have a summon. You literally get 50% less damage than if they did have a summon, and also only buffs up one character. Sunday also works way less with things like Break and DOT because he increases damage percent way less than Robin and Ruan Mei do, never mind all the utility Robin and Ruan Mei bring to DOT like advancing actions forward for more DOT applications, or weakness break and break effect boost for allowing break applied DOT effect to be a significant part of the rotation as well. There is of course a list of characters Sunday is incredibly powerful with, including but not limited to Honkai and Jingliu because of his insane buffs to hypercarry. There's also Yunli, whose best team is now definitely along with Robin and Sunday at once, since Sunday has of course an insane energy buff aside from his other damage increasing buffs. Sunday is also very good with boot hill, but if we're talking raw damage increase, then Bronya could still be a lot better because she increases damage percent way more than Sunday could, because boot hill doesn't care about crit damage or crit rate because he's a break unit. Bronya also increases attack percent a bunch, so while Sunday is pretty good here still, other than the energy buff, I see Bronya as a better teammate still. However, I haven't really seen any clips of a boot hill team comparing Bronya on Sunday, so I'm not 100% sure about it at all. Jingyuan is also now pretty insane with Sunday, to the point where people are comparing him with Acheron, but there is absolutely no way that Jingyuan is better than Acheron even with Sunday. So while Jingyuan mains are definitely a lot stronger now, Acheron mains are still stronger. Just want to put that out there. Jingyuan is now definitely at top 6 or 7 DPS, he's not too horrible of a pickup anymore. Finally, there's Aglaya, and by association remembers MC and any other summon unit who we don't know enough about yet to say too much. If you're going for Eidolons, then Robin Z1 is definitely the strongest, 24% all-type resistance penetration makes her incredibly powerful. Then Sunday Z1, which is more powerful than Ruan Mei Z1 because if a character has a summon, it allows for way more def ignore than Ruan Mei's. As for E2s, then honestly they're all pretty useless. I wouldn't really pull for any of their E2s. If you want to, then get your favorite characters. If I were to rank these three, then I'd say Robin is number 1 obviously. She's absolutely the strongest, her action advance to the whole party is definitely one of the most powerful parts of a character kit in the whole game. I'd say Ruan Mei is still second, she's still incredibly powerful, and I know many people dismiss her a lot because Robin is better. However, not only do you have 2 teams, but Ruan Mei is still very close in power to Robin, not only because she makes Super Break teams so much more powerful, just like Robin allows FUA to be so much more powerful, but because she's also incredibly universal, just like Robin. They're about the same universality level, if that's a word. But Robin is only stronger because of her insane amount of personal damage and the 100% action advance for the whole party. I'll place Sunday at third. He's going to be very valuable and very powerful for everyone who's going to pull for summon units, and everyone who wants to main hypercarry still, but I've seen an alarming number of people saying they're skipping the whole summon meta. So for those people, and for the people who really don't care about hypercarry teams either, then don't pull for Sunday. There isn't a single situation for any person's account where I tell you not to pull for Ruan Mei and Robin, but there are situations I tell you to not pull for Sunday, based on if you care about investing into certain teams or not. Finally, don't be stupid. Just because Sunday is third doesn't mean he's bad. Remember, we're comparing the 3 absolute best Harmony units in the game, and Sunday is third. That doesn't mean he's weak, he's still insanely powerful. He power crept the hell out of Sparkle in every situation, he just didn't power creep Robin and Ruan Mei because he's less universal and single target only while they're multi-target. Using Sunday for example in a DOT or FUA or break team or even an Acheron team is going to be way less effective than Ruan Mei and Robin. However, since Robin and Ruan Mei buff the whole party, there is a chance they buff summon units as well, but I'm not 100% sure if they actually do. If they don't, then there is a much smaller gap between those two and Sunday, and if they do, then it's a much bigger gap, and it just means that Robin and Ruan Mei are that much more universal and powerful. I don't expect them to though, so if you're planning to play the summon meta, you absolutely have to pull Sunday no matter what. And that's it. Thank you so much for watching. Like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff, and join the Especially Discord server. Remember, I'm trying to reach 2,500 subs before the end of the year, so I'd appreciate it if you subscribe to help me get there. Anyways, I will see you next time.